So I'm following up with some questions on Evan's first interview, and the first question I'm going to ask you, Evan, is in your earlier interview you mentioned a Native American email list that you belong to. What is this list called?
It's WarriorNet.
Do you know where that stems from?
I don't, and actually somehow I haven't been getting the emails for a year, and so somehow I got off the list, and I haven't got back on in a year or so. So I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if they're talking about Ward Churchill.
One of the things that you did mention in your earlier interview is that things were being discussed in regards to Ward Churchill. Do you know what these things were?
No, like I said, I haven't been on the list since the Ward Churchill affair started, so I don't know if they are talking about him or not.
Do you know who these people are who have this email list?
I don't know how it started. I still maintain personal contact with a woman who is apparently a DNA, and she and I just have personal interests together. So other than her, I really don't know who started it or where it comes from.
You mentioned an athlete in your earlier interview as well, who in turns mentions or states the Indian concept of power. Is this her or his concept as one indigenous person speaking individually or speaking for a whole?
Well, she seems to be speaking for Indians in general. Her name is Wanique Horn Miller. She's a Mohawk who won a gold medal at the Pan American Games. And what she said was this. She said, "The native concept of power is how much you can empower people around you. You bring them up to your level. You make them feel good. You make them feel strong. You make them feel confident. Whereas the non-native concept of power is how many people you can control." So she seems to be making a generalization about, Indians.
Indian philosophy.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Ward lives large and is a terrible representative of Indians. How do you feel Indians are supposed to live, and how are Indians to be represented?
I don't understand the second part. How are Indians to be represented?
Ward is a terrible representative
Oh,
of Indians.
yeah.
How are they supposed to be represented?
Well, I was talking particularly that about Ward's personal habits. He smokes, he drinks a lot of each, and he's into drag racing. He owns 5 cars. So for living close to nature, Ward is not your man. And personally, I value that, and I don't own any cars, and I spend about half my life in nature. I'm going to spend 2 months in the wilderness this summer. I see Ward as, a big-time consumer, and, an egotist who likes to name drop and doesn't show the humility that I associate with my Indian friends. That's kind of what I meant.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Indians are supposed to live with nature and not drink and smoke and have large cars and to be humble.
Put it this way, the Indians that I like live close to nature and don't try to impress other people with their stuff.
Stuff meaning material things or knowledge?
Material things. And for that matter, Ward can, reel off endless statistics and everything. It's how he uses them. It's to demean others and build himself up.
Okay, this part is going off the record, but I'm still going to record. So now that I've shared with you some facts on find Dolores said some of my own facts that I know as an Indian woman. Do you not like me and what I represent as being Indian?
I don't know you. I didn't see you arrive in a giant tank or just, with skulls of little creatures around your neck, so you seem fine.
I'm just trying to clear up a stereotype that I think a lot of non-natives have about Native people and how we're supposed to live with nature. And, we are humble. I'm a very humble person. And like you, I live simple. I don't own a car. I got in here by the bus and walked up here. And had I gotten my bike and my bike trailer together, I'd be up on my bike. But no, I don't live like the Indians that you like. But I am Indian, and I am living, and I am somewhat acculturated. I consider myself a practitioner of culture. I speak the languages
Well,
and things like that. So.
I know Indians who are PhD lawyers. I've met Vine a few times. And I know Indians who are illiterate Guatemalan peasants. And so I'm not discriminating against any particular, for or against any particular kind, but in general I find them to be humble people who appreciate nature even if they're not really living with it. And most of them don't abuse their bodies, I guess again, the Indians that I like are not